Let's bring in our panel. Katrina Pearson is still with us. She's the national spokesperson for the Donald Trump campaign. Also joining us, Chad Sweet. He's the national chairman for the Cruz campaign. And Trent Duffy is the national communications advisor, spokesman for Kasich for America. Thanks to all of you once again for joining us. How's this going to play out, Chad, tonight as far as the town hall is concerned from the perspective of your candidate?
Well, unfortunately, Wolf, this culture of physical abuse has become a part of the Trump campaign. It's set from the top of by the candidate. We've seen personal attacks, verbal attacks, and now physical attacks, which really have no place in the selection of the next president of the United States. So it's the hope of the Cruz campaign that this is not part of the discussion, that we can focus on the issues. Every time we spend time on these distractions, it's not helping us to secure the border or help Americans get jobs. And so we hope, again, CNN has done a good job in the past in helping stay focused on the issues. That's where we want to be.
You want him out, Corey Lewandowski? You think Trump should fire him?
No, I'm saying we're trying to say that we need to stay focused on the issues. That, again, every time we're spending a minute discussing these types of distractions, unfortunately, it is not helping us to secure the border, helping another American get a job or increase their take-home pay.
Clearly, you want to move on. All right, Trent, what about you? What is John Kasich saying about all of this?
Well, I think he's saying kind of what Chad said, which is that a campaign is reflective of the candidate's values and the way they conduct themselves. And the more we learn about Donald Trump and the more the way he's conducted his campaign, the reason his favorables are going way high into the negative atmospheric is because this is happening. That's why he can't beat Hillary Clinton. And the more we learn about Donald Trump, the more this goes on, the more hopefully people are going to realize that he's not the right leader for our country and not the right leader for our party. But I agree totally with Chad. We need to get back to talking about how we're going to bring jobs back. And that's what John Kasich wants to do, how we need to bring America together, not completely divide and get into all this name-calling and mudslinging.
All right, we're going to move on in a second. I'll get Katrina to respond to what the both of you just said. Go ahead, Katrina.
You know, Chad said something that there was some sort of history or culture of physical abuse in the Trump campaign, and I find that interesting because everyone is innocent until proven guilty, or at least that's what I thought. But more importantly, the reason why Donald Trump is winning and the other candidates aren't is because he is putting out his vision that is different from the other candidates. Mr. Trump wants to move forward. He wants a 21st century foreign policy mission. He wants to stop illegal immigration, and he wants to move forward in the country with negotiations on trade, which does bring back jobs, which is exactly why Mr. Trump is winning and exactly why the other candidates have been trying to politicize every single allegation that comes out. That's the only thing that's happening here. And I'll say this again, Wolf. I'll say this again. What we have here is a situation where you have a candidate, an outsider candidate, an insurgent candidate that is winning all factions of the Republican Party, including independents and Democrats. There is an all-out effort to stop this campaign no matter what.
All right, go ahead and respond.
Well, it's just not the case.
Say that,
one at a time,
Chad.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the key thing here, though, to be fair, Katrina, is that you've got your candidate literally at your rallies saying that he'll pay the legal bills for those that engage in physical violence. It should be no surprise that we see this same culture reflected even at the campaign manager level. And I'll tell you this, you can't make this stuff up. That Corey has selected for his defense counsel Kendall Coffey, who was a disgraced U.S. attorney under Clinton that had to resign in 1996 because why? He bit a stripper.
Scott Richardson.
So if anyone knows about how to defend on physical abuse,
Corey Lewandowski's attorney. See, this is what I'm talking about. Again, trying to politicize an incident. Scott Richardson is Corey Lewandowski's attorney.
We're not politicizing an incident. He was charged by the Jupiter Police Department today.
But you
this
just
is a
gave
real
a
thing
false
that happened.
name
The entire country. Hold on. The entire country.
Go ahead.
The entire country.
Attorney.
Hold on a second. The entire country is watching footage of what happened, which the campaign previously denied. Now, I worked for President George W. Bush. I've been with Secret Service agents. I've been around the President of the United States. You made a point earlier about the notion that this reporter had somehow breached the security envelope of the candidate. There's a Secret Service agent right next to Mr. Trump. If he thought that there was a physical threat to Mr. Trump, he would have stepped in and stopped it. He didn't. So this is what's playing out. Nobody's politicizing this. We're all watching this in real time. And campaigns do reflect the candidate. And for him, Mr. Trump, to disavow this and just to suggest this is all just a politicization is, you know, part and parcel the way he's conducted his campaign. He is saying that, Katrina. We're not making this up.
Take the
He's
allegation
saying
into
that.
consideration. No, take this allegation into consideration. She says she was aggressively grabbed, nearly thrown to the ground. That is the allegation. So
The
this
police
is a man
department-
who has,
the police
4
department-
small
One at a time. Hold
children.
on.
There is a man that has 4 small children now having to face charges from this claim that he was that he grabbed a woman, nearly throwing her to the ground in a press scrum. That is absolutely absurd. And you working on a campaign, you know it too.
Our campaign doesn't
Yeah, but
throw
this-
reporters to the ground, Katrina.
Right.
Well, nobody's
And our
running up to your
manager
campaign trying to ask
focuses on
questions
his
either,
job.
breaching
the
a Secret
Service
Service
focus on their
circle.
job. Right.
I just want to point out, Katrina, the statement released by Mr. Lewandowski, he said he is represented, as you point out, by Scott Richardson of the law office of Scott N. Richardson, PA of West Palm Beach. But the statement then goes on to say he's also represented by Kendall Coffey of Coffey Burlington in Miami. So clearly he has both
Right.
of these attorneys representing him, Katrina. I don't know if you're familiar with the statement that the campaign
Yes,
released.
Scott Richardson is his lead counsel, yes.
The lead counsel, but Kendall Coffey is also involved, part of the legal team.
Oh, I'm sure there's probably a lot of attorneys that are involved.
I'm sure there are probably a lot of attorneys, which is pretty interesting for a campaign for president to have attorneys and hire legal eagles to defend a staffer on a battery charge. That's astounding.
But what's interesting,
Well, in this
both of your
campaign, it's
hold
not
on.
really astounding since the entire campaign
Well, that's
has
a
been
good
a target
point,
from
Katrina.
day one.
You're absolutely right. For your
and-
campaign, it's not
Yeah,
astounding.
and Katrina,
This campaign has been under attack
yeah, it's not
from
astounding, and I
every
think
angle.
it's shocking. It
from
says a lot
every angle.
that you would that it says a lot that you would choose a counsel in any role whatsoever that formally bet a stripper and had to be resign in disgrace as a U.S. attorney. But let's agree on this, Katrina. Let's agree that you and we and the Kasich campaign all want to come back to focusing on what matters, which is how are we going to help Americans get jobs, increase take-home pay? How are we going to actually increase freedom and, at the end of the day, security? And so that's what Senator Cruz is going to focus on tonight. And Wolf, perhaps we could get into what are the issues in the CNN town hall that you think that CNN is going to want to focus on, so we can give our solutions that our candidates are prepared to provide.
And I think Anderson Cooper and the voters in Wisconsin tonight, each candidate will have basically an hour starting 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 3 hours for this town hall, and I assume almost all of it will be, as all 3 of your campaigns want, the most serious issues, domestic national security, facing the American people right now. So a week from today, when the voters in Wisconsin go and vote in the primary, they'll have a good chance, a better appreciation of these 3 remaining Republican presidential candidates. We're going to leave it on that note right now. Once again, 8 p.m. Eastern, the town hall begins. I think it's going to be really important. Thanks to all 3 of you for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.
Thank you, Wolf.